I'd just like to pay my respects and acknowledge that the land that we are on today is the land of the Wadawurrung people. Pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and everyone in the room today, and your lands and where you come from and your families. Yeah. But we welcome our, Macaylah.
Yes, Macaylah Johnson. Very, very lucky to have you here today, Mac. I've known you for a very long time. Local woman, traditional owner. So we'll just kick back and have a bit of a chat. And I know you like to talk. And
Never.
But very excited to have you here, Mac. And thank you for giving me up your time and coming in and have a chat with us. And like Nick said, I too want to acknowledge traditional owners, your people, the Wadawurrung people, and everything that you've done for thousands of years to ensure that the land is maintained and looked after the way it is, so we can live, work, and have fun on it and learn. Yeah. So welcome, Mac. Welcome to the Bungalow.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. We're very excited. So, can you just introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about Macaylah Johnson. Who are you? Where you come from?
Yeah, sure. Nyora, which is hello here on Wadawurrung country. Nyarik, Macaylah, Mokborin, Wadawurrung, Bungalow. So, I'm Macaylah. I'm a proud Wadawurrung woman, and I also would like to acknowledge that we're on my mother's ancestral lands here on Wadawurrung country, part of Yalukja, Wadawurrungja, freshwater country here in Ballarat, meaning resting place. Acknowledge my elders, your elders, you guys, your family, your ancestral lineages, and the journey that you're on, living and working on Wadawurrung country and with our community and extended community as well. So thanks for having me. I've known you for forever, since probably being, fresh out of the womb almost. I was born on Jaja, Wadawurrung country, in Maryborough. Lived on Jaja, Wadawurrung country most of my sort of early childhood years. I lived in the middle of a state forest in a 3-story mud brick house, completely off grid.
Nice.
So I spent my childhood making mud pies and talking to fairies in the bush. And
the best kind of childhood, hey?
Yes. Being a little childhood should be.
That's it, exactly.
Being a little bush rat.
Yeah.
Lived completely sort of, off the land. We had solar panels, which we'd get, TV for an hour or so every night, and that was our treat. But combustion stove heated our hot water all year round. We'd move underground for summer. We'd move above ground for winter, hot air rises. And then, went to Talbot Primary, which was a deadly little school with 70 kids. And then for my last years of primary school, moved here to Ballarat with my mum and little brother. So I was raised early on in my childhood by a young single mum. We moved into Ballarat. Then I went to St Thomas More, primary school in Alfredton, and then was off to Loretto. Did my full, or almost full, high school years at Loretto. Had a baby in year 12, which sort of threw a spanner in the works. Wouldn't change it for the world now.
No way.
Have a deadly little 4-year-old who keeps me on my toes. And
hello, Mecca.
And an almost 11-month-old as well at home. So Mikacha and Mayali. I'm now a mum of 2.
Beautiful kids.
That's
living in Ballarat in Winter Valley. And have an array of different jobs at the moment.
That's it. Keeps you busy, hey?
Yes.
So I'm working at Wadawurrung Traditional Owners Aboriginal Corporation a couple of days a week, project managing cultural values assessments under the Victorian Aboriginal Heritage Act. So I write about all the tangible and intangible cultural values prior to landscapes getting developed. I currently have a gig at the United Nations. So I'm currently the United Nations Youth Australia First Nations chairperson with the portfolio of reconciliation, even though I think reconciliation is kind of bullshit. Can I swear?
Yep.
Kind of shit.
Too late now. No, that's fine.
Definitely.
So I didn't expect to get that because we had to write an essay and submit it about, reconciliation and what it is and how it's impactful. And mine was probably not what they were expecting to hear, and I pretty much wrote about how reconciliation is, is a bit backwards.
Yep.
So I'm doing that at the moment, and then started my own business when the Commonwealth Games got cancelled. So I'm all over the place, but I think I run off adrenaline. I think that's my drug. I'm addicted.
Yeah, all the different avenues you can take, hey?
Yeah. But that's a bit about me at the moment. And I should mention I have partner Mika. Equally as important as my children.
Yeah. Hey, Mika again.
Big Mega.
Yeah.
Mika.
But that's a bit about me.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You do run off adrenaline, I think. You're even like that back at school.
Yeah.
Keep busy.
Well. And I went on you running through Loretto and the AIM program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think all of these things that you're doing, you're an amazing role model for our young ones. It's definitely. I know as your daughter Evie was
obsessed.
I think is your biggest fan, definitely.
A little darling.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think there's a week that she doesn't bring you up, which is amazing to hear. And it's good to see that we've got not just within Baddack, we've got outside community that are role models for our kids. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's important.
Mac's name is often mentioned in our house most days.
That's it.
If it's not Mac, it's Mika or it's Mayali. It's one of the
Jealous
three.
when you come in here and she doesn't see you.
No, she's already Snapchat me today.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. I'll send her a message later.
Yeah.
But when you were a kid, Mac, like what did you want to do when you grew up? What did you want to become?
I loved my childhood, but I have some pretty deep traumas from my childhood. I have a colourful sort of family, and there's a lot of trauma that runs deep in our family as well, a lot of intergenerational trauma that's been passed on. So I've always wanted to break that, and I think my mum was the first sort of person to break that, and then I followed on from her. But going to school was very much a priority for myself and for my mum, for her children. Going to university was always spoken about as an option for us, which, for her and for past generations in our family, it's not really something that's been pushed or spoken about or seen as achievable. But for mum, she's always said, whatever you put your mind to, you can do it.
Yeah.
And I'll be here every step of the way, and so will other people. And I think a big thing that she's always instilled in us is to surround ourselves with a network of people, whether they're biologically related or not, make them family. And, you support them, they'll support you, and you can collectively do whatever you want. Yeah. So I wanted to be a doctor all the way up until year 12. I wanted to go into biomed and then general practitioning, which would still be pretty cool today. I think I've just, gone about it in a roundabout way, but still I think is very much achievable if I, want to do it.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, there's.
Later on, healthcare and closing the gaps, especially the healthcare gap, is very much something I'd love to work towards. At the moment, I'm sort of focusing on the education sector and trying to, do my part to raise awareness and education levels to be able to, create culturally safe educational institutions and schools and things. So other, little Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander kids like me can just focus on school and their work rather than, identities being questioned and things. And just knowing that they're there and they're safe. So at the moment it's around education, and not just within education institutions, but broader education within other organisations, and, different organisations that service the community. So that's what I'm doing at the moment through my business, but would love to go back and study maybe later on down the track when the kids are at school and move into general practitioning and maybe healthcare.
Yeah, that's so amazing.
Right.
It's important for community to have, you know, someone that they know in community is that people as well. Like,
Yeah. I did a RISE camp in year 10 with Melbourne Uni, and if any young people are listening to this, go on all the camps and all the excursions that you can in school. They're amazing.
Yep.
You did NASA too, didn't you?
Yeah,
wow.
went to NASA, so I was really fortunate to go over to the US. Graduated space camp over there, which my specific team looked at payload telecommunications and flight engineering for the International Space Station.
That's so cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, so that was sick. And then we travelled around to JFK, and then we did Boston and Washington DC, and travelled around to different places. But that was incredible. But the local camps that some of the unis put on are amazing. I did the RISE camp, Year 10, Melbourne Uni, and I did microbiology and oncology. So little Year 10 girl went down to Melbourne, stayed at Trinity College.
Oh, wow.
And my work experience was in the oncology unit at the Melbourne Women's.
Wow.
In the Aboriginal team.
That's
So working one-on-one with women going through cancer and cancer treatments and post-surgery, working on the oncology ward was incredible, and looking at tailored cultural care for oncology was that sort of drove my passion of wanting to provide healthcare. And then we got to then go behind the scenes to the labs, and I got to watch some of the surgeries, and I saw some of the cancers taken, and then on the other side I got to go back to the labs and watch them dissect that cancer in those cells and watch. So that sparked a huge interest in that healthcare and the way that healthcare is provided for First Nations women as well.
Cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Lucky girl.
Yeah, that's it. And that's it with, you know, all that you've done. What's the proudest thing, do you reckon, for you?
Definitely becoming a mum. It's been the hardest thing I've ever done. I love a challenge, and like I said, I love running off adrenaline, but this is something else.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm quite open and honest. Like for a period there, I was a single mum, and that was challenging. But it taught me so much about myself, about my kids, and how much I actually during that time needed them. As well. Like often, you know, it's perceived that kids need their parents, but really I needed them so much. And I'm in debt to them for how much they've taught me and how much I've grown since having both of them. And completely different experiences with both my kids. Mika taught me so much about myself, and I matured really quickly having him, being 17.
Definitely. Yeah, that's it.
And a mum in year 12. And then Macaylah was born critically ill and premature, so she also taught me a whole different world, and
that's it.
A strength that I didn't know I had. So
100%.
Both children have taught me so much, have helped me grow in so many different ways, but I'm so proud of them and how deadly they are. Beautiful little kids, and I'm biased, I know that, as their mum, but I'm so lucky, and that's definitely my biggest achievement so far. Yeah, healthy, happy kids.
Yeah.
That's
We
right.
want more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're pretty cool kids. Mika's, I think he's just got one gear, and it's just go.
Best way to be.
Macaylah seems a little bit more chill, but I reckon
She's sass queen.
Yeah.
she is very sassy. I wonder where she gets it from, though. Might be Dad Mika, but no, like talking about that, Mac, like how they've influenced like your life. Like you've had to grow up really quick.
Yeah.
Like, you fell pregnant in year 12. You were 17, became a mum, like that, and you had to grow up really quick. And you know, these kids have influenced your life in probably the best way possible. But thinking about that, like, can you tell us about the other important people in your life and like how they've influenced you, like both personally and professionally?
Yeah. biggest supporter in my life is my mum, as I've already said.
Yeah.
I remember telling her I was pregnant, and I thought I held off for quite a while.
Yep.
I thought I know my mum's going to love and support me either way, but that's a hard thing to tell someone.
100%. Yeah.
So she supported me without any questions, without any doubts. From that moment, was on board.
Yep.
But that wasn't the case for my whole family and for everyone around me. It was really difficult. I lost a lot of people. But like my nan as well, my mum's mum, she, being young mum, sort of runs in the family. So both of them could empathise with me and supported me the whole way through. Honestly, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community have been my biggest family and biggest supports throughout this process. Like I said, I lost a lot of my family, but this community especially rallied around me and became my family and have always offered support. And, if I need babysitters or if I need this or I need this, everyone's been so deadly, and everyone in this community has always said, this isn't a setback. You can still achieve what you want to achieve,
right, exactly.
and we're here for you.
That's it.
So there's been some really amazing key people, Aaron, you especially, helping me through that. And I know that, there was a lot of talk about me at the time, and there was a lot of things said, and key people like you stuck by me and supported me through that. So that's been incredible, and I couldn't have, achieved half the things that I've been able to achieve in the last 4 years without people like yourself and my close family as well. So I'm really grateful for those who stepped up to the plate to be my family when a lot of my family were absent in that time, and have stuck and have continued to be my family in that situation.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about community, hey, that you might not be directly, related with blood, but community, we all come as one, and
absolutely
got your back, I think, is the most important thing, hey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it was just a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, I think it was one of those things, like we clicked at the AIM program when I was working there, like running that program, and you were a mentee and I was one of the mentors / staff, and I think the relationship, like the bond that we were able to create just in that setting was great, and then it's sort of just grown from there. And obviously you went through a bit of a tough road there in year 12, and there was a lot of talk happening there, but you had some really good people behind you that just shut that shit down, and we all know the type of person you are,
and look at you now,
and
like,
the values
look at
and
what
you've done
like,
is.
I love hearing about what you're doing. I think you're amazing. It's so cool.
And it makes me incredibly proud to know you and to see what you've done. Considering that some of the speed humps you've had to jump, but like you said, you wouldn't change it for the world. And those kids you've got are just amazing. Actually, a little bit annoyed you didn't bring him into the podcast today, but would have been a little bit hard to keep Mick sitting on that couch over there. But
mic him up.
But you just keep doing you, Mac.
That's it.
Simple as that. I think I've always said that to you. Just keep doing what you're doing.
And I think that was a huge part of the support that you guys provided, was that you didn't expect or tell me to change anything about me. No. Like a lot of people, when I fell pregnant, were like, you need to go hide. You can't, you're young and not married and you're a teenager,
But those old ways of looking at it, isn't it?
Yeah. Or you need to get married now. You need to do this. Whereas you were like, just keep doing you. Just keep being yourself. You know,
do what's best for you. Yeah.
You'll figure it out. You always do.
That's it. And you have.
Make it till you make
it. And now look what you're doing.
That's it.
Business, UN, Com Games, even though that fell apart.
That's it. Yeah.
So,
what was that experience like? Heading overseas and being able to perform with.
So found out about the Commonwealth Games. The actual closing ceremony 2.5 weeks before it happened.
Wow.
Got the call and they said, we need someone, can you do it? And I was like, yeah, I don't say no.
That's
I'll do
it.
So I did 2.5 weeks of 9-hour days training in Melbourne with David Atkins Enterprises, who were the choreographers of the closing ceremony. So we did those 2 weeks with all of the Australian dance team as well, who performed during Baker Boy and Vanessa Amorosi and Taylor Henderson.
Yep.
We had Creative Victoria, and we had DJ Sir at the time. Oh, they were DJ PR, and we had to perform in front of them as well to make sure that it complied, with all the government needs for a closing ceremony.
Yep.
Met some really amazing people from the other mobs who were hosting the games. And then our choreographer from Far North Queensland came down and choreographed the sort of creative side, not so much the traditional side of things. So worked with them for 2.5 weeks every day. And then got on that plane. The plane ride was sick.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Got to fly first class Emirates.
Oh, how good. Just
So
lay back.
that was incredible. I was loving life.
Yeah, you'll never want to go on a plane again and do
No,
it normal, hey?
I don't. So flew into Dubai and then flew. That was interesting, being in Dubai, and how much I didn't know about their culture over there.
Yeah.
And then flew straight to Birmingham. And then we stayed in Coventry, which is about 40 minutes out of the city of Birmingham, in the village there, with some of the rugby teams from some of the different countries competing in the Com Games, and we rehearsed every day for 8 days. So we did 12-hour days of rehearsals for the 8 days. And then we had the dress rehearsals, but that was like going into Area 51. We had to sign these confidentiality things.
Wow.
No phones, no photos.
Yeah,
It was
keeping it on the hush,
full replica of the stage. And so we weren't allowed to tell anyone where we were or anything. Performed on the stage for the dress rehearsals. Met some really cool people. Met Georgia Smith. Met some cool British performers. Did the Com Games, so we did the closing ceremony at the stadium in Birmingham in front of all those people, which was quite daunting.
I bet.
3 seconds before I went on, we had the headpieces, the music, the dig started playing, and I started bawling my eyes out.
Oh, no.
Not because I was nervous, just because I just felt, I don't know, there was something in that moment. Decolonising the coloniser's space, doing a smoking ceremony on the coloniser's
quite
land.
heavy, isn't it? Yeah.
It was a lot. And having, cherry blood and gum leaves with me from, something that grows in my home and my country, using that and smoking their land with that's what hit me. As soon as that smoke started, I started crying. It was really powerful. It was a blur. It was like there was no one in the audience. I could feel the energy of everyone, but I couldn't, see anyone.
You was in that moment,
I was in that moment. Did my part, even though you guys over here barely saw any of it, but that's okay. Did my part. Went downstairs to get changed. Met Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, wow.
Which was sick.
Cool.
I got a big wet kiss.
Lovely.
Down under the stage was dressing room, so we couldn't get a photo under there. But it was awesome meeting him, and his wife Sharon and Kelly was there as well. They were really deadly.
Cool.
That's so cool.
They were really lovely. And then went back on, and I was a flag bearer for the Aboriginal flag for Baker Boy and Vanessa Amorosi as well, which was really, and Taylor Henderson, which was really cool. Held our flag, carried it around the stage, and then carried it around the stadium and out of the stadium, which was a moment I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And then it was over before I knew it.
Yeah.
But it was incredible, and I was lucky enough, we got a couple of days here and there spare, so I got to go to a couple of dignitary events working on the Declaration for Sport for First Peoples within the Commonwealth. and I wore a, what did I wear? Always was, always will be t-shirt out the front of
Nice.
Buckingham Palace.
Good.
That's so good.
But I was really pleasantly surprised over there with their cultural awareness for especially Aboriginal cultures. I did the Red Bus tour.
Oh, yeah.
Counted the Aboriginal flag flying 17 times in the city of
Wow.
London.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I noticed that a fair bit when I was
Yeah,
over
right.
there
Yeah.
years ago.
It's more than we have here in some towns, hey? Like,
Yeah.
That's,
Yep.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I got a tattoo over there, and the guy said, £50 if I can record you telling me your Dreamtime story, because my son is in
Wow.
kindergarten. They're learning about Victorian Aboriginal Dreamtime stories at the moment.
That's
Oh, wow.
amazing.
And I was
that
like-
gives me goosebumps, hey?
Absolutely.
Some of our
That's
schools aren't
so-
even doing that.
Literally,
Yeah.
yeah. That's, yeah,
Yeah.
that's wicked.
When I was doing all my security checks and passes, there was these two older people in Birmingham, and they were like, "Oh, who's your mob?" And I told them, and they're like, "Oh, so blah, blah, blah,
Wow.
that's part of the Kulin Nation." I was like, "Yeah, it is."
Wow.
They're like, "Yeah, we've done our cultural awareness trainings, blah blah blah."
Yep.
It's like, you guys are sick. You
Yeah,
guys
that's
are
it.
awesome. But it's mandatory in some schools that they do. They learn the histories of the countries that were colonised. So they do units, and
Yep.
different year levels do different countries. So they have
That's
a
amazing.
really broad understanding.
They've probably got more of an understanding than the kids are in schools here now. Like,
Yeah.
and from when I was at school, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
nothing when I was at school.
no, literally either. Like, that's,
And
Yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised
Yeah.
with how awesome the people were over there.
that's it. Wow. You would not have thought that at all, hey?
No.
You know, you
And-
just don't think about that though, do you? Like,
Yeah.
what, they must be learning, but yeah. Yeah.
I was apprehensive about going over there for that
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
And there was also, I knew I would get some sort of hesitation from family and
Yep.
community about going over to perform a ceremony at the Commonwealth
Yeah.
Games. And I knew that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think that there would be rightful recognition
That's it.
for our people bringing the games back. So it was
Yeah.
the first time in Commonwealth Games history that First Peoples and traditional owners were written into the contract
Yeah.
for hosting the games. So it wasn't Victoria hosting the games. It
That's
was
it.
a combination of different traditional owner mobs hosting the games. So if I hadn't have been, if I didn't feel like that was rightfully recognised, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, for sure.
But seeing that contract signed for the very first time, I was like, we have so much opportunity here. Even
That's
though we
right.
had, 3.5 years,
Yeah.
we have opportunity here to make it different
That's
and
right.
rewrite this
exactly.
for the future, and
Yep.
for all the other First Nations peoples around Commonwealth countries to do this their way, right
yeah,
way.
exactly. Yep.
So yeah, we did cop some shit here and
Yeah.
there coming back.
Coming back. Yep.
But
You're always going to though, aren't you? Like with everything that you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, but yeah.
so I jumped straight into the role of project managing the Commonwealth Games engagement and coordination on Wadawurrung country. So here in Geelong, we were hosting events and the cultural ceremonies and festivals. So that was my job, and that was a priority of mine to make sure that it was done the right way, and that our mob, not just for traditional owners here, but
Yep.
all of our mob here, got the chance to showcase how rich our culture and, our contemporary culture with all of us being the first peoples living on Wadawurrung country today, to showcase that.
That's it.
Whether you're TO or not, this is
Yep.
your home. So
Yeah.
that was very much my priority until, it
Yeah.
abruptly got cancelled.
Shame. Thanks, Dan Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. No, it's amazing. And I know we watched it here. Hey, I think it was staff. We watched it here, and like from what we did see of your performance, like it was so cool. And
It was a 9-minute performance, but I think
Oh,
you got to see
true.
about like 30 seconds.
yeah,
Not to go back and
I know we
Have
were
another
kind of
look.
like we just want to watch more. Like just keep it going. But it was such a for us to know you and to be able to watch you do that, like it's so cool, amazing. But
that's cool.
Yeah, I guess what advice do you give to young people that, you know, want to go out and chase their dreams? What can you give to them?
I think for me, stay true to yourself. Just do you, be unapologetically you. Don't try and change for anyone or anything. And if, you know, you work in systems that don't cater for you, then make them.
Yeah.
Don't change yourself to fit into systems or policies or things or work spaces or different environments that you find yourself in. Don't change to fit them. Be you.
Yeah.
And they can change to accommodate for you.
Yeah.
And just, there's no such thing as dreaming too big or wanting to achieve something that's, you know, nothing's out of reach. So surround yourself with people who uplift you and empower you.
Yep.
And you can, you know, with their support and encouragement and with your, you know, if you're determined to do something, then you can do whatever you want to do.
Yep.
So I think just believing in yourself, breaking down some of those traumas and barriers and, you know, some of that baggage that you may carry on from your family or your environment, it's okay to break that. It's scary to break that and it's uncomfortable, but it's, you know, so many great things come from you being uncomfortable and afraid of things. So break the mold and do you and don't try and fit into anything.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, don't let anyone stop you.
So important, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
We try to drum that into you a lot.
Yeah.
Back
absolutely.
at school, like, just imagine what's possible.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think Jack said it once, like, with your dreams, like, shoot your dreams for the moon. You miss the moon, they're floating amongst the stars in the galaxy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
yeah, AIM taught us heaps of that stuff. Like even the motto, no shame at AIM.
Yeah.
Just be you.
And it's simple, but it means so much, hey? It's got such a big meaning to it.
Yeah.
I did try to find that video of you singing at an AIM program, Dave. I couldn't find it.
Awful.
I will find it, don't you worry.
Please don't. I hope it's lost on the cloud somewhere.
Yeah.
I will have it somewhere. But like, your hopes, what are your hopes for, like, our community here, our Aboriginal community? What are your hopes for us in the future?
Like I said before, for people just to be able to be themselves without having to justify their identity or their being or where they fit into the wider community here. And I don't think that doesn't lie on us, that lies on the wider community.
Yeah.
To once again not try and make us fit into their systems that don't accommodate for us and our cultural needs. So I would love for more organisations and more groups and educational institutions and schools and whatever it is, healthcare, to do cultural awareness training, to come to community events, to come yarn with us. I like to say, if I ever do a welcome to country, that I'm not welcoming you to a place that you've probably called home longer than I have. I'm welcoming you to come be, you know, part of our community, to care for the land and the resources around you, access the resources. But a welcome to country also comes with obligations that once you're welcomed, you have custodianship in a sense that, you know, you need to care for everything around you. But more than just lands and waterways, country as a holistic term, and that includes the community and everyone around you as well.
Yeah.
So I think the more that we have these conversations and the more that there's education and awareness around the community, that our mob here can just be themselves and go to school without having their identity questioned and access a hospital where they're culturally safe and, you know, their health care is tailored to suit their cultural needs as well, and they can do a smoking ceremony in the hospital, you know, at the hospital.
Yeah, that's it.
So not have to always justify who they are and what they do and their cultural sense of being, just to
Definitely.
do them.
Yeah. Nah, love that.
No,
Yeah.
totally agree.
Definitely.
How does Mac Johnson want to be remembered when the dust is settled and you're long gone?
Good question.
Because you've done some bloody amazing things. Your name's going to be around for a very long time.
100%.
Yeah. How do you want to be remembered?
As a good mum. first of all, as
No doubt there.
and I think that expands more than just with my children. You know, I love all of our little mob here, and I'll support them in their journey and where they, you know, I can't wait to watch where our emerging young people are going to go in life and what they're going to do. We have some really awesome kids in our community, and you know, if I can aid them on their journey in any way, or if I can nurture them in any way, then I think that's a lot of my purpose in this community. How I want to be remembered, I'm not sure yet. I could probably do some random stuff in the next few years, good or bad. I don't know how I'm going to be remembered. But I think not even being remembered, but just even currently, just people knowing that I'm there for them, and that, you know, especially those living off their country, that I'm so fortunate to live and, you know, raise my children on my ancestral lands, but that my doors are always open, and same goes for country. Like, they're always welcome out on country with me, or, you know, part of my family, and that goes for everyone here in this wider community, that my home is theirs, and my knowledge is theirs as well about the landscapes. And if they don't have that connection back home, that they have a connection here as extended family as well.
I think it's definitely so important for our community, hey, like with so much of our stolen generations and our mob being a part of that, and this is their home, and not having those connections back at their home. So
I
so
think
important to have these relationships that we get to have.
Absolutely.
So important.
And sometimes I think for the community, you know, Wadawurrung is a bit foreign to them, and I think because Wadawurrung Traditional Owners Aboriginal Corporation primarily services traditional owners, there's a bit of, you know, disconnect there. But I think my priority is to make sure that the community know that, you know, this land is their home.
Yeah, it's not a, you know, you guys and out, like
exactly
us sort of stuff.
Exactly. And I think sometimes, unfortunately, that's how it is perceived.
Yeah.
Just because how organisations are set up, and, you know, how they, you know, capacity to service only specific people at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Nikki said it before about you being a role model for for a lot of our kids coming through, particularly the girls, young girls that are coming through. So that's definitely one thing that's going to be a highlight. Obviously, particularly for me, having a 14-year-old girl. I guess having someone like you.
Yeah, as someone that they can look to, and that, you know, look at all the things that you've done, and that's something that they can do. Like, take every opportunity that's, you know, thrown at you, and don't be shamed from, you know, jumping for what you want. I think that's so important, and it's great that they can see that that's what you've done.
I think
I'm pretty lucky.
Just so, you know, they can see that it's okay to make mistakes. I didn't do things by the book. I've made mistakes, and I'll own that, but my mistakes I definitely see as learning opportunities. So I want them to know that they're safe to make mistakes, and that we will be there to support them regardless. And, you know, I don't see Mika as a mistake, but other people perceive that, and that's okay. It's not something that they would traditionally choose to do. I didn't choose it, but, you know, it's not something that goes by the book, and it's okay to not go by the book. And I think that's so important for our young people, especially in school, where, you know, you go to school and you get a good ATAR, or you get an apprenticeship or a full-time job, and you've got to do this, and go to uni, and
that's it.
There's so much pressure on them. And if they do feel like they've made that mistake, or they haven't done something set by those rules or that book, then they feel like they fail, and that's not the case at all.
Definitely.
And that's so important that they know that they're okay, and they're still successful, and they're still worthy, and
there's still ways to get what you want.
Exactly.
Even, you know, and how amazing that you can share with your kids that, you know, I've had you guys and you were around for when I did this. Like, I think that's something that they're going to grow up going, how cool is my mum? Like, that's cool.
I hope they think I'm cool.
Oh, definitely.
My daughter certainly thinks it's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And, you know, everything that you've gone through, that's your learning experiences and where it's taken you. Like, it's all in who you've become. Like, yeah. It's pretty cool.
What's next?
What's next? God,
Get the list out.
I don't know. I really don't know. I've got a few exciting things coming up. I'm working with some pretty cool organisations and people in the tech realm, looking at documenting country in a way that can be preserved forever. Once again, goes against a lot of maybe sort of not cultural, but traditional ways of caring for country. But especially for me on Wadawurrung country as a Wadawurrung woman, Geelong and Ballarat, we're in the fastest growth in Australia at the moment in terms of development.
Definitely.
So the way that, we preserve cultural values in country is probably going to look a lot different very soon. So working with some pretty cool companies, 3D modelling country before it's developed, so that we always have a snapshot and an experience of what that country looked like, soundscapes, landscapes, and being able to experience it, as well as elders. So, videoing, taking 3D modelling, measuring, and then coding it and making these new programs where you can put on a headset and experience 5D country
really
before
cool.
there was a building there.
That's it.
So you can walk around, listen to the soundscape.
Yeah.
So we match, the biodiversity numbers and, the flora and fauna. We match the soundscape, and then they have a full immersive experience of walking on that land, seeing their surroundings. And then we can record elders telling the story of that landscape, and you can see
That's
the elder
amazing.
standing in front of you talking to you, and you can shake their hand,
That's cool.
or you can give them a kiss and cuddle, and that's preserved forever.
Yeah.
So you can
So
walk
important.
around.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah. That's amazing.
So
Technology is wild, isn't it?
Crazy.
Yeah.
That would be unbelievable
it's
Yep.
crazy.
if we
and
get that up and running.
They're doing that at the moment with Tuvalu in the Pacific, which is the fastest sinking island in the Pacific, and they've done that as a matter of self-determination. Acknowledging that sovereignty was never ceded, and as a form of, I guess, native title for them, in a sense that sovereignty was never ceded on their land. However, they come under Commonwealth, but as soon as their island sinks, they own 100% of their cultural values and their country in a technological form. So now British don't own anything to do with their culture or country, because it's on the cloud, and there's no such thing as someone colonising the cloud.
Wow.
So they've claimed 100% of that back.
That's amazing. It's so powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without any Western systems governing them.
Wow. That's so cool.
So working on that.
It's cool to see how our culture can grow with the times as well, isn't it? Like,
Exactly. And I think that's so important for people to understand that we're not static. And if we were static, we wouldn't have survived, the last 65,000 plus years.
There's a reason why we've been here for 65,000 plus years.
Exactly. Because we can, the growth in us,
As much as, cultural law, LOIRE, and traditions are so important, and they, are the foundation to everything we do. We also acknowledge that they can change and adapt, and the way that we, look after the landscapes changes and adapts, and that, we can care for each other in a new way now, moving with the times, and we've always moved with the times.
Yeah, exactly.
So it looks foreign.
Yeah.
But
for our youth, it's not going to be foreign either, is
Exactly.
it? Like, this is the world that they're living in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, what a shame for them if they, don't get to experience
That's
some
right.
of those places because there's a building, there's a concrete on top of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
But, they're
can still
so
see it.
tech
So
savvy.
cool. Yeah.
They can
They'll be
work
teaching
this.
us. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. That's
That's
cool.
So looking forward to expanding that a bit more, and then working with the UN, which is big, interesting. like I said, breaking down what they think reconciliation is and looks like has been a big thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm just working with local community. I'm looking forward to expanding that and my network where I'm sort of working with at the moment. I'm working with a really cool development company called APD Projects. They're working on the new suburb being built in the Ballarat North PSP, the new growth area, creating a culturally conscious living environment and what that means. So I'm really looking forward to that and breaking down, I guess, Eurocentric housing developments and, corners and
That's it, yeah.
Making, in open spaces, having yarning circles where everyone's equal and important in these situations and having open interactive play spaces where the story is always told.
Yeah.
And people can intertwine their cultures and their families into the cultural values that have always been ingrained into that land. So looking forward to that. There's a lot of, I think, exciting things going on around the Ballarat community. Heaps of people are doing really deadly stuff. So looking forward to watch this space.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, sweet. I think we got you booked in early March.
Yeah.
Come to youth group and share some Wadawurrung stories and some language and maybe even tell that Dreamtime story that you told the tattooist over in England.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. It's important to share it. That's one of the reasons why we started doing the podcast. Is that we want to get stories like yours out there. To share with next gen. Like we've got a bunch of people that are incredibly lucky to have you walking alongside them as a role model, and we can't wait to keep walking alongside you and share the journey with you and
definitely all growing together. Hey,
watch those two kids of yours grow up as well. So, Matt, like I've always said, just keep doing you, mate. Like don't change for anyone. Stuff the haters.
That's it.
You've done some bloody amazing things, and I can't wait to see what's next. But
Definitely.
Before we finish up, I probably asked you this question like 10 years ago back at home, but
It could have changed by now.
I'm sure it's probably changed. Superpower. What would
This
it
is
be?
the hardest question.
Yeah.
It used to be invisible, so I could just, move around.
Yeah,
Being able to teleport would be cool.
Yeah.
that's what I want to do.
Just be able to just pop up wherever I want.
Teleport and time travel. That's what I want.
This is kind of selfish, this one, but I really like the thought of manifestation. Selfish because, you're just making the environment around you agree to what you want in your brain.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it would be a blessing and a curse to be able to mind read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe teleportation. I think
Yep.
that comes with the least strings attached.
That's it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like to read someone's mind.
Or
Too
just be
worried
like
about-
I
a. Be
have
Someone's gonna
some
say-
weird
Yeah.
thoughts. If someone
Me
could
too,
read my
and very
mind.
random stuff too. It's
Yeah,
like,
same. Same.
no, don't think that.
Get that out of your head.
Yeah.
People would want to lock me up.
Yeah.
You're
I love
not
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Mac, thank you again for coming in. We absolutely love just chilling out and having a yarn. You're welcome to come back anytime, and thank you.
Thanks
We love
for
ya.
having
Thank
me.
you. And
Love
we'll-
you guys.
Catch up again soon.
Definitely.
Sounds good.
Sweet.